The sky was painted in golden hues as Suraj and his 9-year-old daughter, Swara, played in the garden. Her laughter echoed through the air as she ran barefoot on the soft grass, dodging her father's playful attempts to catch her. Suraj, a dedicated reporter and an even more devoted father, finally scooped her into his arms, twirling her in the air. Her face glowed with happiness, but in the briefest moment, a shadow crossed her eyes.
Papa, where is Mummy?
She asked, looking at him with innocent curiosity. Suraj's smile faltered. He gently brushed her hair back and glanced toward the horizon. The question hung between them like an unsolved riddle.
It's getting late. Let's go inside,
he said, avoiding an answer. Swara didn't press further, but deep down, the question never left her. One night she saw Suraj standing near a dimly lit bus stop. A woman in a black coat approached him. She spoke in hushed whispers, her face mostly hidden, but her eyes glowed with something familiar. Swara, hidden behind a tree, watched as her father nodded, then walked away, leaving the woman standing alone. Who was she? Why wouldn't he tell her? She clutched the bark of the tree, confusion and unease creeping into her mind. The next morning, the house was eerily quiet. Swara yawned, stretched, and hopped out of bed, expecting to hear her father humming in the kitchen. But there was nothing. Her heartbeat quickened as she checked his room. His shoes were gone. His coat was missing.
Papa. 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 Papa.
She called. Silence. Panic set in as she ran outside, asking the neighbors, searching every corner of the town. But Suraj was nowhere to be found. Defeated and terrified, she returned to her room, curling into herself on the bed. That's when she noticed his phone on the table, blinking with a voicemail notification. Hesitating, she pressed play.
Swara, honey. By the time you hear this, I may be taken away by the goons. All your answers are in the garden. There's a box, go find it.
Her hands trembled. Taken? By goons? She wiped her tears and ran outside. Swara dug frantically in the garden. Her small fingers scraped through the soil until they hit something metallic. A box lay buried beneath the dirt. With bated breath, she opened it. Inside, she found a letter, signed Reshma, an old key, a faded photo of a castle. Swara's heart pounded. The castle, she had seen it before. An old, abandoned mansion at the edge of town. She had to go there. The castle loomed before her, its towering structure silhouetted against the night sky. The iron gates creaked as she stepped inside, her flashlight barely illuminating the dust-covered floors. As she explored, she found a wooden desk, cluttered with old papers. Among them lay a diary, its pages filled with her father's handwriting. She opened it, scanning the words.
Reshma. We had to separate for Swara's safety. The goons are still watching us. But we must expose the truth before it's too late.
Her breath hitched. Reshma. The name echoed in her mind. Who was she? Determined to find the truth, Swara went to an elderly woman her father often spoke to.
Who is Reshma?
She asked, her voice trembling. The old woman's face darkened.
Forget this, child. Some secrets should remain buried.
But Swara didn't leave. She stood firm, pleading for answers. After a long silence, the woman sighed and handed her a slip of paper.
If your father is missing, you need to see her.
Swara's fingers clenched around the address. Swara knocked on the door. It creaked open, revealing the woman from the bus stop. She gasped. The realization hit her like a thunderbolt.
You are my mother?
Swara whispered, her voice barely audible. Reshma's eyes filled with tears.
Yes, my child.
Swara's voice wavered, anger and heartbreak mingling.
Then why did you leave me? Didn't you love me?
Reshma knelt before her, gripping her hands.
I love you more than anything. But we had no choice. To keep you safe, we decided to live apart. But your father and I never stopped fighting for the truth. I and your father were once fearless journalists, determined to expose corruption and bring the truth to light. One day, we uncovered a massive scam involving a powerful corporation, one that thrived on deception, bribery, and exploitation. The moment they realized we had evidence against them, the threats began. First, it was anonymous letters, warning us to back off. Then, strange men started following us. And finally, they sent goons to silence us, permanently. Fear gripped us, but we couldn't give up. We were confused, unsure of what to do, but one thing was clear: we had to protect you. With heavy hearts, we left the city behind and came here, hoping to start over. For a while, we believed we were safe. We tried to settle down, to give you a normal life. But they found us. One afternoon, while we were in the market, we saw them, shadowy figures watching us, closing in. Panic surged through us as we ran, weaving through the crowded streets, desperate to escape. That was the moment we realized we could no longer stay together. If they found one of us, they would find the other. And if they found both of us, they would find you. So we made the hardest decision of our lives. We chose to live apart. To the world, we were no longer husband and wife. But in the dead of night, when the world slept, we met in the abandoned castle outside town. That's where we worked, gathering proof, documenting everything, waiting for the right moment to expose them. It was all for your safety, honey. Every sacrifice, every moment of separation, it was to protect you.
Swara's eyes widened.
Papa is missing. The goons must have taken him.
Before Reshma could respond, there was a loud bang on the door. The goons had arrived. The chase through the streets was relentless. Swara and Reshma ran, dodging the men who sought to silence them forever. With the help of townspeople, they managed to escape, but not for long. By morning, they knew what had to be done. It was time to fight back. They printed newspapers, distributed pamphlets, and rallied the villagers. The truth about the scam spread like wildfire. Soon, a woman approached them, whispering the words they desperately needed to hear.
A man, he is being held in a house outside the village.
Swara and Reshma wasted no time. They rushed to the location, alerting the police on the way. The house was heavily guarded. Suraj was inside, alive. As they approached, the goons captured them too. Their hands were tied, their voices silenced. But just when all hope seemed lost, a wave of villagers arrived. They stormed the house, overpowering the criminals. Police sirens blared. Officers swarmed the area. One by one, the goons were arrested. Swara and Reshma ran to Suraj, untying him, tears streaming down their faces. The battle was over. The next morning, the newspaper headline read, "Scam exposed, criminals arrested." Swara, Reshma, and Suraj sat together at the breakfast table. Finally a family once more. Swara smiled, looking at her parents.
Can we always be together now?
She asked. Suraj placed a gentle hand on hers.
Always.
And for the first time in a long while, everything felt right.